Hey, everybody. Super intrigued for this chat today with Jim. Callback of Mural, a company that's really interesting in the collaboration and workspace. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great, Evan. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, thanks for being on the show. And I'm really intrigued to dive into the future of work. You're doing something rather different than the usual collaboration tools that we all know, love, hate. So I'm really keen to introduce you and the team. Before that, maybe I'll play a quick video to kind of set the scene for the viewers. I really enjoyed your YouTube page here. So let's have a watch. Wow, that looked really fun and engaging. Something you usually don't ascribe to Teams or Zoom or Slack. Sorry, guys. We're seen as, getting work done, right? Maybe introduce the vision here, what's behind what we saw, and give us a little bit of history.
Sure. Mural is a visual collaboration platform. We refer to them as whiteboards. And I think it actually complements some of those other modalities that you
Mm.
mentioned. You mentioned Zoom and Slack, and those are great for, audio and video with Zoom and Slack for chat. But if you look at collaboration in general, and maybe go back to the days when we were in the office, you used to turn right on a whiteboard or right on a sticky note or a flip chart. And part of collaboration was working visually with your team, which is really important. Happy to talk more about that as well, too. But we believe that we actually complement other collaboration tools out there because of the visual component and the spatial component that is so important these days with distributed work styles, hybrid and remote teams, that you need that visual way of communicating for alignment, for connection, and for just having fun as well too. And why should meetings be boring stream of bullet points going by? Why can't I jump in and contribute with my colleagues?
No, I love that. I love the fundamental philosophy there. Um, and you talk a lot about innovation. It's really tough to be collaborative and innovative and creative when you're on a screen here. How do you bring innovation to hybrid work, remote work?
Well, I think with some of those points that I just mentioned, that if you look at a lot of design thinking techniques, for instance, or
Hmm.
innovation methods as well too, a lot of them are visual,
Hmm.
right? And a lot of them require people to stand up and contribute to a board. Of course, when you were together, you would do that on a physical board, but when you're remote, I think that visual component, which is complementary to other modalities, that visual component is really, really key for creativity, imagination, and innovation.
Yeah, and this seems like a tool that was built for the work from home era, which is slowed down a bit. We're sort of moving to hybrid work, but I'm still seeing a third to maybe a half of teams being distributed or remote. So just being in the office doesn't seem like it's enough anymore, is it?
No, no, it's not. And I think, so Mural is over 10 years old, coming up on 12 years now,
Hmm.
actually, too. And, even before the pandemic, we believed that teams can be creative and innovative, even if they're not co-located. And that was our mission. Of course, as you just mentioned, during the pandemic, that became top of mind for everybody. And we were right there to play along, let's just say. And hopefully we helped a lot of our customers. But it's interesting in the post-pandemic world, if I'm able to call it post-pandemic world, or the hybrid world, mix of office days and working from home. It actually changes that visual collaboration that I was talking about. Because as soon as you write something on a whiteboard or express yourself visually in the office, you're not only locking your colleagues out of that who aren't there, you're going to lock yourself out of that on Friday when you're working from home as well too. So the office, we went back to the office, but we're not going back to butcher paper and sticky notes anymore. That the office work has now changed, and that has to have a digital foundation. We call it digital first collaboration, because you need to be able to take it with you. Friday, like I said, when you're working at home. So going back to the office doesn't mean going back to our old ways. We got to now think about, how does creativity and how does innovation and the momentum, it's really about momentum. It's about that momentum. How do we keep that going? Even with all the different configurations that you might have of people at home, in the office, working synchronously and async. And if you have a digital visual tool like Mural, that's the thing that keeps the momentum going.
Oh, that sounds so great. So there's a sea of digital tools out there, and yet you still manage to kind of stand out. Who's the kind of genius behind your UX, UI, and design work? It looks really
Yeah,
interesting.
we value design here at Mural. We always have. In fact, the first employee, 11 years ago, was a designer. So the three founders sat down and said, we want to start a company. We need a designer because of the nature of the tool, right? Because it is so interactive and engaging and participatory, that the way that it's created and the experience around that is fundamental to the value propositions that we just mentioned.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, your developers, your programmers, God bless them, aren't always the best
Yeah.
designers. I think that's a good lesson to take away. And what about physical whiteboards versus digital? There's been an attempt at digital whiteboards, physical
Yeah.
digital whiteboards that didn't
Right.
quite take off. So we're
Yeah.
going to settle on virtual. It seems like a better compromise.
I think so. Mural, we never had the physical component like
Yeah,
Jamboard, which they just decommissioned. I don't know if you heard
I
that
saw that. That was
news from
that's a little
Google. Yeah,
surprise.
they had the physical board, which was great for like schools and things like that. I heard there's a
Mm,
lot of schools now that are going to be left hanging. But the way that we approached it was, kind of a software only play. However, what we're starting to see are large touchscreen devices. Right. And I don't know if you remember back in the days when you walked into an office meeting room and there was an overhead projector. You
of
remember the
course,
overhead
yes.
projectors?
We are
Right.
that old. I think we're about the
There
same
you go. But then
generation.
everything changed to a monitor, and it was a monitor that you had to plug into. What I think the future is going to be is all of those things are going to be touch now. So I don't know if a company like Mural needs the hardware. What we need to do is be able to work on all of those touch surfaces. I won't even say screens, I'll say surfaces that are going to be out there kind of surrounding us. Everything from a mobile device and an iPad to larger things that are 27-inch, 55-inch, 84-inch screens that are touch and responsive. And we've been playing in that space actually for a while, particularly with the Microsoft Surface Hub, just as an example. Our app works on the Microsoft Surface Hub, and we got some great stories of companies using that instead of a physical whiteboard.
Oh, that's a great point. So you seem to talk a lot about integration, and in the enterprise, there's just a ton of different platforms. Is that your go-to-market? Is integration with other tools, whether it be Microsoft or other partners, or
Yeah,
how do you see that?
it's part of it. Obviously, it's not all of it, but it's part of our go-to-market. Obviously, and as I mentioned, distributed collaboration, whether you're remote or hybrid or somewhere in between. I think there's a lot of capabilities when we talk about being digital first. There's a lot of capabilities that a team needs. Right, you need to have the audio and video for real-time collaboration. You need the instant messaging for almost real time and email and things like that. You probably need a place to store documents. You need project management kind of tools as well too, your Asanas of the world. And I think we fit into that ring, but we occupy a unique space because of the visual nature of it and the spatial nature of Mural and the whiteboard, that it affords teams a different level of interaction and communication with themselves. But if you think in an ecosystem view, then yeah, we got to integrate with other tools, and we do have integrations with Zoom and Asana and Google Drive and Dropbox and things like that. However, one of our keystone partners is Microsoft, and we integrate with the Microsoft Teams interface. And it's amazing what it does is it turns screen sharing into content sharing. Because instead of sharing your screen, if you were to share your screen with me, Evan, that would be dumb for me. And by that, I mean, if I click on it, I can't interact with your screen, right?
Right.
But if you're sharing a Mural canvas, now we're interacting with the content that you're showing with me, and I can actually jump in with you. So as I've recently said on LinkedIn, screen sharing's dead. It's all about content sharing in the future. And that's what we've achieved with our integration into Teams.
I love that. Well, that's a pretty powerful message. And of course, in the enterprise, security and data protection are all the rage. Of course, it's an imperative. How do you manage that?
We've been playing in the enterprise space. Actually, I've been with the company almost 9 years now, and
wow.
Just as an example, IBM was one of our first enterprise customers. Definitely our largest, still is to some degree. But we very, very quickly were able to provide the capabilities and the security for IBM penetration tests, and we also have consultancies and banks. We have financial institutions as well too. So we have the highest standards of enterprise security for a cloud-based application and a collaboration tool that are out there. And we also have data residency as well too. So for our colleagues in Europe, because we sell all around the world, teams all around the world use us. And in Europe, we have not only GDPR, but we can have data residency as well too on EU soil.
Oh, well done. That's really cool. So you must have lots of different customers across different verticals and different industries, but I imagine also a lot of creative industries and types using your platform. Maybe describe where those fit in. Where's the best traction?
I think there are kind of two company, at a very, very high level. I'm not talking about segments here, Evan. I'm just talking about the type of companies that need a Mural, in their suite of collaboration tools. It's kind of two things. Is if the industry that they're in is kind of moving fast, right? So, fintech, right? Consultancies, software, it's moving fast. I don't want to say burning platform, but there's an imperative in those industries to innovate. And, we were talking about innovation and creativity. The other component is multinational companies that are dealing with distributed teams, right? They might have offshore developing. They might have, design teams that are trying to work from London and New York City and things like that. So that's why we get, IBM and SAP, for instance, are some of our customers because they're innovating fast and they're also very distributed.
Wow, that must be really fun to get involved with. I'm curious, your role as an evangelist in chief. What are you looking forward to over the rest of the year? We're in Q4 now officially. We got Zoomtopia this week. Lots of events on the radar. What's on your calendar? What are you looking forward to personally, professionally?
Yeah, I hate to see a crowded field and say me too, but AI. And I know every conference out there right now, every presentation's about AI, but we got some really cool AI capabilities that we're going to be launching. And just in general, what AI can do, not only for work efficiency, but our focus is really on teamwork. And we kind of feel that AI has a couple of different roles within the team. It can actually be like another team player. If you think about a brainstorming session, for instance,
oh, wow.
Me, you, and a couple other people contribute sticky notes and, in a brainstorming session. Well, AI can contribute too. Once it knows the theme or what we're talking about, it can contribute as if it's a team player right along with us. So what does AI do for teams and teamwork is really interesting. And we're really trying to explore that with some of the new capabilities that we'll be launching.
Wow. Have you announced any of those, or shall we come back and chat about those again once they're
there are some announcements of the features. I mean, they're in beta right now. I can use them. They're going to be generally available shortly. But yeah, we have a couple of features that can kind of do what I just described, complement and extend what a team is trying to work on. So, understand the topic or the themes and the content that's there and extend that. Also, even just things like clustering ideas and helping teams go from from unstructured thinking to very structured thinking, right? And that's kind of where Mural plays, right? Because we're a blank canvas. You approach a blank canvas not with, oh, I know what the answer is. You approach a blank canvas with, let's find the answer together, right? And AI plays a really key role in going from that unstructured to structured thinking, and it can accelerate teams and teamwork.
Oh, I love that. Well, you're the most interesting blank canvas I've ever chatted about. So thanks for joining and sharing just a little preview and vision of where you're going. Really interesting. And everyone, thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out to Jim or Mural with any questions or comments, and look forward to your feedback. Thanks so much, Jim.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, everybody. Happy to chat and continue the conversation over there. Thanks for having me,
Fantastic.
Evan.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers.